welcome. You're watching Head to Head. I'm Antonina Antosha with UATV. The European Investment Bank has provided a loan of €200 million within the framework of the Ukraine Early Recovery Program. This loan is intended to facilitate the quality of life of those affected by the war in Donbas. Recently, the surgical unit at Myrnohrad City Central Hospital was opened after renovations. This is the first of hundreds of social infrastructure facilities that are being repaired under the European Investment Bank finance program. To talk more about this, we're joined in the studio today by Jean-Erik de Zagon. He's the head of representation of the European Investment Bank in Ukraine. Hello, and thank you for joining.
Pleasure. Thank you.
So please tell us and our audience about the hospital that has recently reopened after being renovated.
Yes, I mean, we have financed the renovation of this hospital and also an X-ray machine that has been installed there. The idea is that it's going to be 11,000 patients that can be taken care of in this hospital after this intervention. It is part of a very large program, as you mentioned. The program is the 200 million that the bank has affected to what we call early recovery in the region. It's a consequence of 2014, the bank committed 3 billion to Ukraine, and 200 million of this 3 billion package are for early recovery. The idea of the bank is to finance smaller projects than we do normally. The bank is very good at doing big infrastructure, bridges for 150 million, things like that. We are used to do that. This is a very special program. Two reasons. The first reason is that it's very special because for the bank, 200 million with 800,000 projects is something we don't do very often. So this is going to be a project of 200,000, 300,000 euro each. And the second thing is very special in the sense that this should affect the quality of life of people directly. It should have a very quick impact on the people's quality of life.
How many medical establishments are participating in the program, and how long will the program last?
So we have 200 million. Today we have about 85 million committed. And that represents today about 280 projects.
Okay. Why did you choose this very particular hospital in Myrnohrad to be the first one to get the renovation?
I think Myrnohrad has all the reason to qualify for this program. It is very close to the contact line. We are 25, 30 kilometers from the contact line. I think also there was really a need for this hospital to have this new equipment. And I spoke to the mayor of Myrnohrad. This is a town of 30,000 people, but they have 17,000 displaced people in the town or in the village. And that makes a big, big difference. I mean, you can imagine the pressure on infrastructure, on hospital, on schooling, on housing. So this was a very, very important project.
Do you have any feedback so far on the people's reaction who have already visited the renovated hospital?
Listen, it's very difficult to give that because I was just there for 1.5 days in the region, and I spent a few hours.
Maybe you got some messages.
Yes, I mean, the message we got from everybody, all the doctors, all the nurses who were there were extremely happy to have a new equipment. So this is very, very happy about it. And the people we could see, I mean, the street or whatever, I mean, they seemed very happy also the fact that the EU is present. And I think that's the important message also, that EU is present. I mean, the governments try to help the people there, but EU also try to help the government by providing this loan. And that is, I think, the message that we take care of that and that the government take care of them. With the local authorities, the governor and the mayor, that is the important message.
What are you working on right now?
We are working on many projects. I mean, we try to speed up. I mean, the first thing, this 200 million, we need to speed it up. We have 280 projects today that have been approved by the government. We will hope to start a tender for that, but at least we have 500 million projects more. So that is something taking a lot of our time. We have one senior engineer who is only dedicated to this project, and that doesn't happen very often in the bank, that we have one person dedicated to something like that. So we have one engineer, senior engineer of the bank, who is dedicated to this. So the bank, we work very much on this. Then we have other projects, and that's something also I discussed with the mayor of Myrnohrad. We also try to work on vocational education, and I think in that town, for example, in the eastern part where they're still depending on the mining of coal, for example, it's important to have alternative. So vocational education, for example, is something that could help. I spoke with the mayor also about agribusiness, for example. That's something also we're looking into. I think it would be important over 5-10 coming years to be able to diversify the economy in this part of Ukraine.
to diversify the economy in the particular torn up by the conflict region of Ukraine. What needs to be done first? If the evaluation step has already been taken, what's next?
So the evaluation step has been done for this 280 project, but we have to continue on that. But I think that, yes, I think if you want to diversify an economy, you have to give confidence back to investors. And I think if they see that the government is really trying to do something, if they see that IFIs like EIB, but also why not EBRD and the World Bank, if they're also coming there, that could give confidence back to investors and to local business people, because they are the ones who have to do the job at the end. So that is important, to give the confidence back to local investors, local business people.
What kind of resources does Donbas lack right now to give full awareness and assurance to the investors from abroad?
Well, I think it's important to stabilize the region. And I think the Ukrainian army is trying really to do a good job there. So that is one thing. But I also think it's very important that we give sheltering to people, we give housing, we give hospital, we give schools, because that will stabilize the region. Now,
How about providing people with jobs?
Yes, that will be the next step then. If they are qualified, if we do things there, they're going to open business and things gonna start again. I was very impressed by seeing how people are living there. People are very brave, I must say, in the sense that they try to have a normal life. I mean, the war is 20, 30 kilometers from there. I mean, the contact line is that close. But people still try to have a normal life. You see parents taking care of the children are going to school, doctors are doing their job. I mean, people are really trying to do the job so close to the contact line. And that is the sign. Now, when you are there and when you talk to people, something you don't think about when you're living in Kiev, for example, somebody talked to me about street lighting. You have to put street lighting. And you don't think about it. Because when you're walking around, you and me in Kiev, we see all the streets have lights.
Yeah, the capital is pretty much lighted.
Absolutely. But if you are there, yes, it makes a difference in a town, in a village, if there's light in the street in the evening. You reassure people, they feel better. If they feel better, they're going to start to spend. Feel more secure. They're going to start to spend money, they're going to start to invest money, and that will change it. But you have to think about that. And that is, thanks somebody who was there who told me that, that's a good idea, we'll think about it.
In your opinion, what does Ukrainian government need to do as well, or plus to what they're already doing, to make the situation in Donbas better for people who live trapped in the conflict zone?
Yes, but I mean, I think first thing I would recommend is to use very quickly this 200 million to do these kind of things. And then obviously there's going to be more infrastructure needed, rebuilding roads, energy, water treatment, so on. That is something that has to come also, so people really start to have a normal life.
Thank you so much for what you're doing for your projects, for coming here and telling us all about it.
Thank you very much.
That was Jean-Erik de Zagon. He is the head of representation of the European Investment Bank in Ukraine. Thank you so much for watching UATV. Stay tuned for more.